Recently, my wife Molly and I received the fall newsletter from the Penn Manor Educational Foundation, and it reminded me of a triple oops story. About 15 years ago, on a cold February morning, I received a call from our friend David, and he said, "I have rented a villa for 6 weeks this summer on the shores of the beautiful Italian Lake Como." I said, "I presume you're not calling just to torment me." He said, "No, we'd like you and Molly to join us for a week." This was a once-in-a-lifetime invitation, and it led to a triple oops. Some months later, we received another invitation from the Educational Foundation to their annual Cadillac fundraising dinner. Cadillac dinners are very exciting, live, progressive raffles, generally with a pretty steep entry fee and a significant single prize. And we signed up for the dinner. Our first oops was we didn't realize that was the week we were going to be away in Italy. What to do with our 12-year-old horse-crazy daughter Leslie and her horse Max while we were in Italy for a week? We came up with a brilliant and foolproof plan, which was we would send her to a sleepaway horse camp in East Aurora, New York, for a week while we went to Italy. It involved driving our horse trailer up to 6 hours up to East Aurora, and that was the plan. To make sure that the drive, we didn't have problems on the drive, we took our expedition, which was our towing vehicle, to a national chain service center. We saved money by not going to the Ford dealership, and that was our second oops. Because the service center employees apparently did not completely tighten the oil pan drain plug. So on a hot August Sunday morning, we left Lancaster, about 3 hours on the road between Liberty and Mansfield on Route 15. The engine seized up, I lost power steering, I was barely able to get the expedition and the trailer off to the narrow shoulder with semis roaring by on one side and embankment on the other side, no ability to get Max out of the trailer. Still had a cell phone in those days, so I used my cell phone. I called AAA, called again and again. I'm on hold. I finally get through. And then I explained our dilemma to the AAA and said we need to have a tow. And she said, "Well, it's Sunday morning and you're in the middle of nowhere." I said, "I know that. That's why I have AAA." So more calls, more waiting. Finally, she calls back and says, "Well, we found a guy who can tow your expedition up to Mansfield Ford dealership. Cannot tow the horse trailer because that's not what we do. And oh, by the way, he's teaching a Sunday school class right now, but he might be able to get there in an hour." So I got out my cell phone, and oops number 3 was I had not brought the car cell phone charger with me. So I'm making calls trying to rent a vehicle that can pull this horse trailer. Well, of course, most people are closed on a Sunday morning. The ones that were open would not rent me anything to pull a horse trailer because they don't do that. So the tow truck driver finally shows up. Max, the horse, is still cooking in the trailer. And he said, "Look," I said, "Look, here's my situation. I've got to get my daughter and her horse to East Aurora. I've got to be on a plane to Italy at 11 o'clock tonight from the Buffalo airport, which is right next to East Aurora." He said, "Look, I'm sorry I can't help you. All I'm allowed to do is take the expedition up to Mansfield. But my son has a pickup truck, and he can pull a horse trailer. Now, he can't take you any further than the next town because he has a reunion to go to this afternoon. But at least he could do that." I'm thinking, well, this is better than nothing. So he leaves, sort of with the expedition, leaving me with Molly, whose dreams of vacation are vanishing, and our daughter Leslie, who doesn't know when she's getting to horse camp, and Max, who's still cooking in the trailer. About an hour later, the son shows up, nice guy, big truck, all good. And I pleaded our case. I've got to get to East Aurora, and I've got to get on a plane. He said, "I'd love to help you, but I have to go to a reunion this afternoon." And I'm thinking, this must be a really important reunion, like a college reunion or a high school reunion. But I thought I would ask. So I said, "What kind of reunion is it?" He goes, "Well, it's a family reunion." I said, "Whose family?" He said, "Well, it's my wife's family." I said, "Today is your lucky day. Because not only do you not have to go to your wife's family reunion, but you're going to make $300 for driving us to East Aurora, New York." There was a long silence. He looked at me and he goes, "Well, we have seen them a lot lately." We made our flight. We had a fabulous week in Italy. Leslie had a fabulous week at horse camp, and now we're going back. Now we get to the Ford Expedition, which had to have its engine replaced at a cost of $4,000. This cast a pall in our drive home. When we got back, there was a phone message from Donnie Martin, who is the Penn Manor classmate who was in charge of the Cadillac dinner. Now, you probably forgot about the Cadillac dinner as we had, right? And Donnie said, you know, you were one of the 4 quarterfinalists for the prize, but you weren't there. Everybody else was there, but not you. So normally the 4 quarterfinalists just sort of agree to split the prize rather than risk losing it. But because you weren't there, we had to keep going. The winning number, ours. The prize, $4,000 in cash. No oops there. Thank you.